Personally, I don't think that you have a valid. Awesome. So I'll do it again. Personally, I don't think there's a valid critique to be made if you've spent like such a small amount of time in something, but at least try it and tell yourself you're not into it, and then leave your criticism at I didn't like it because of this, and maybe it changes down the line. Because like I said, the combat in Avowed is a little difficult in the beginning, but once you get into the swing of things, you start getting some talents, some unique items and stuff. It really does open up.
I
But
mean,
yeah, and one-handed weapons, using the same one-handed weapon at the same time actually changes how they work too. I don't know if you've noticed that, Mir, but like I was using, yeah, it's the same. Yeah. But if you use like a pistol and a wand, it's a little disjointed. But if you use two pistols, you can do two charge attacks at the same time and like alternate better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, oh God.
Mhm. Yeah. This had Dishonored levels of like just fluid dual motion. I really enjoyed that. Mhm.
What's up, Saber?
Mhm. They so they make references to the first two games, and this is something I talked about last week. One of the best things they have is you can press a button during any conversation, and anything that's a reference or a special term is like highlighted in blue in the discussion. If you press the button, it pulls up a glossary on the side that shows every term that's been used in this conversation. And if you look at it, it pulls up a short journal entry that says like, "Hey, this character is the god of this," or "This is a swear word used in the Elven language," or "This," or "This," or "This," and it has this whole thing where it's like if you want to know more, or like if you're struggling with like, oh, what is that again? I don't remember who this character is. It has it right there for you. And
Yeah.
if you're going to be a narrative, like if you're a narrative player, but you're also like severely ADHD like I am, sometimes you forget shit. And that is immensely fucking helpful because like I'll sit there and I'll be like, who the hell was this? And I open up, I'm like, right, okay, now I remember. I can go back, and it doesn't disrupt anything. The conversation will still go. You can listen to it, or you can just let it sit there, and you can look through the glossary thing. And the fact that they have that, I think every game that has this kind of like decision-based storytelling and world building should use something similar to that moving forward. It's just another standard that I think Avowed has set for these kinds of games moving forward. But to Amir's point, if you are more of an action game player, start with Avowed. You don't have to go back to Pillars. Pillars
Mhm.
Pillars is terrific. The universe is great, but at least the first game, it's dated. It really does feel like I would argue you can go back and play KOTOR more easily than you can go back and play Pillars. And it, it was a Kickstarter. Yeah. Yeah, I backed it on Kickstarter back in like the 2010, 2011 range. Yeah. Yeah. And it was. Yeah. And then I mean, mentioning like going back to Baldur's Gate, like what we were telling PJ, like this is probably Baldur's Gate 3 is probably the closest you can get to playing D&D digitally, like in a video game setting. Like because a lot of people don't realize it, but like D&D set the ground for pretty much every modern video game to a degree. Like if you have like a hit or miss chance and the damage is varied, it's a D&D thing. The computer is rolling D20s for like 90% of games with combat. Like when there's a range, it's like yeah. When it's a range, it's flipping coins, it's rolling dice, it's doing all types of shit, but it's doing it in the background at like the blink of an eye. But it all came from tabletop games, like figuring out how that shit works. Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
I'm not- All right. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, let's go.
Hmm.
The second one is a hot take.
So, so wait, one is a hot take, the other is a real article, and we're signing which one is which. What was the first one again? I mean, that just sounds real. Like that's happened before. Uh, I'm with PJ. I think the second one's the hot take. Okay.
Okay, all right, all right.
All right, all right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Second one is an actual article.
Real quick, Amir. I'm hearing that you might not be coming through on YouTube, audio wise. Yeah. After you fix that, we'll go ahead and we'll recap the questions.
All
Hey
right. Can
man,
you guys hear me on YouTube? Am I heard on YouTube? YouTube? Can you hear me, YouTube? YouTube?
Yeah, give them a reason to the other way around.
Hello, YouTube? What's the October 7th game? I have no idea.
hey, you too.
YouTube, can you hear me now? Okay, I don't know. But I think according to the computer they can hear me now.
Okay.
Oh, he says all good. No problem, Redgrave.
All right.
Alrighty, so
That's my
back to the
buddy.
game. So
Oh,
I'll read the
yeah.
headlines one more time. So we have game developers fear anti-trans measures could hit their industry next, and then the other one was streaming platforms are killing true gaming culture.
Hmm.
Which one is a hot take and which one is a real article?
Repeat that first one one more
Yeah.
time.
The first one is game developers fear anti-trans measures could hit their industry next.
I think that's an article. I think that one's the article, personally.
I think they're both hot takes.
Wouldn't that be something?
Is that an option?
I mean, it could be. Is
it? Oh, no.
It could be.
I mean, if they could both, hold on. If they could both be top,
They could both.
Oh,
I
man.
think they're both hot takes. I ain't gonna lie.
you think so? I don't know, man. If they can both be hot takes, I think you should do one at a time. Then, damn.
Like so. Truth be told, if it's one or the other, but I
The
feel
truth be
like
told, it's one or the other.
okay. So
That's some sage advice right there,
yeah,
man.
like
Heads
all
and
right.
tails. Truth be
You
told,
come
it's one
to
or
a
the other.
doorway.
It is what it is.
You come to a doorway with two guards. One of them always tells the truth, and the other lies. And PJ's like, you know what? I'm rolling for
Y'all liars.
I'm rolling for charisma
one of
right
them's a liar.
now. One of you guys is lying.
Hey, look, anyway,
That was fucking funny, bro. He said, and the way he did it, the way he was like it was like he was about to drop, like, and he said, to be honest with you, it's one or the other. But let me explain.
All right, let's let him explain. I need some
I just-
clarity
So-
here. Yeah.
It was funny.
So
Woo.
because I say they're both hot takes because I see a lot of the inclusion being spoke about
Mhm.
on multiple platforms and how a lot of people are offended by the whole trans thing and how the trans included or why are we including trans? That's getting out of hand and out of pocket.
That
But
makes sense.
so
That's a
I
good reason to think it's a hot take.
yeah, so I got tired of seeing it, so every time I see it I just scroll up because there's always someone commenting on that. And there's a lot of misinformation being spread throughout. So I went with it, both of them being hot takes. But if I had to guess with him telling me that it's one or the other, it's the first one's gonna be an article again, I think, actually.
So the thing is too is keep in mind this first one says that the game industry fears that anti-trans measures are going to interfere with their work.
Yeah.
So it's not so much saying that they're, that they don't want it there. It's them saying that they're
Yeah,
afraid that
that's why I think it's the article.
I think
Yeah.
that one's the article. Yeah.
I agree with you. It's the article.
Alrighty, you guys are right yet again.
Hey.
It was a Wired
Hey.
article back in, actually this month. This came out February 2025
Oh, okay.
on Wired.
that?
Developers warn that emerging anti-DEI policies might soon affect game studios, igniting fierce debate. Yep.
Yeah. There's that's a whole hotbed of that's a minefield, that whole topic,
It really is.
But I don't know, and that's to take a sidebar again. That's another thing I've seen as a critique of Avowed is you got the people claiming woke again on something like that, and
exactly.
again the interesting thing about Avowed, right? So I didn't come across a character that used like different pronouns. Like I didn't notice them using different pronouns for a character until the second area, and maybe even the third area. Like it was not obvious, and then. There are some gods that are referred to as like they and whatnot, but they're deities. They're like unknowable beings, and I've always felt like speaking about them as a multitude or as like just nebulous. Like if I'm expecting nothing to have it, if I'm expecting something to not have a gender, I feel like a god is probably fine, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't really care what bits whatever deity has, but like I don't know. Like I think Avowed handled it perfectly, where it's like you hear a comment and someone says, yeah, they did this, and it's like, oh, okay, and that's it. There wasn't a whole quest line for it. It was just a side conversation you walk past, or like
Right.
you speak to someone and they're like, my husband's in trouble, and the character's male. It's like, okay, Cool, he's got a husband. That's whatever. It's not like my husband's in trouble because the Steel Garrote thinks that the gays are a problem or something. It's just my husband's in trouble. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go save his husband.
Yeah,
And that's it. It's just
very simple.
it's just quest development.
That's because people worry about the wrong thing. Like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly.
I agree.
Yeah,
like why are you worried?
Yeah.
You know, it's so weird. It's also so weird to be so worried about what if you are not LGBT or you are not gay for the sake of this conversation. If you are not gay, why are you so worried about what gay people doing? That's the question.
the main
Like,
question.
what? I'm gonna be real. The only time I ever think about gay people is when something in front of me is happening and it's gay people doing it. I'm like, oh, look at these people doing it. Or if something crazy is happening to gay people. That's it. Other than that, I'm like, oh, they're just people living their life. That's what it is. That's just everybody living their best life.
I think we talked about that the first time around with our couple, maybe, I don't know. One of my Star Trek. I love Star Trek. Right, I've watched every possible.
That's what we talked about when we first came back. I remember that.
Yeah, Star Trek is terrific. And one of the things I love about Star Trek is like the world vision is one of the most optimistic for the human race, or like for the future of it. But Star Trek, one of the best ways it ever handled things was just there were problems that just simply didn't exist in Star Trek, and it was like they had like eugenics wars and shit in history, but like in the modern, part of Star Trek where it's like hundreds or thousands of years in the future, it's like not a single episode was like, this African American from Earth is a problem to me. Like there was never like a racism thing on that point. It was like racism involving aliens or something like that. But like I personally, I find it like I agree that there should be messages and there should be things in certain forms of media. But when it comes to something like science fiction or fantasy, I think by bringing in modern, like current problems, especially in science fiction, it is saying that it's like thousands of years in the future, we will still not have moved past this problem that we're currently having in 2025.
Now, see, that's a fair argument for because it's logical. It's like, okay, if we're 2,000 years into the future, why would we still be having this exact same argument about this?
And like, I don't want to see homophobia in science fiction, but if you bring me to another race that involves any of that or something, like we meet another alien species and some things like that, or like people are discriminating against an alien species, that's a whole other thing, right? Like you can involve these topics without making it direct Earth problems. And that's the whole thing. Like if you do this in fiction or science fantasy, it is either clearly a message that you can do, or you're having trouble creating something new without being influenced by what's currently going on. And these are important issues, obviously, but either seed them in a way that's relevant to the world or allude to them if you have to. But like, don't just explicitly throw in this like 2025 problem in 2037,
One of the themes
2337 or whatever.
One of the themes that I actually get into in Rock Salt, or that I will be getting into in my series Rock Salt, involves the Dwarven Society. And in the Dwarven Society, you have the Dwarven Kingdom known as Durnval, and Durnstall. And in Durnstall, they right now are in a political occupation, or they're in an occupation of another place in the dwarven area, in the dwarven realm. And the reason they're occupying this place isn't because they had a disagreement with land or anything like that. It's not, it's nothing like that. But what happens is there's a group of goblins that are forming alliances with this other group of dwarves. And Durnstall is like, they're anti-goblin. They don't want goblins down here. Dwarves and goblins don't get along. They share the same cave networks. It's hard. They fight for resources, all that stuff. But this one group is like, nah, these goblins is kind of cool, like yada, yada, yada. So now they're occupying that area. The kingdom is occupying that area, trying to stop that. And there's a resistance. But it's not because they're, different religions or anything like that. It's just, hey, man, it's like more of a different way of life, more so than a religious argument that spawned into something like that. You can have things that are inspired by something going on, and you just have to, like you said, make it work within your story.
Right.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Rock Salt is woke.
Rock Salt's
woke salt.
Woke salt
is crazy.
Listen. Get you some woke salt, okay? Woke sauce
So
available on
I'm
Amazon.
salty from how woke it is. Let me tell you.
Yeah, let me tell you. It's so woke. It's so
Woke
woke.
sauce
One of our villains is just evil Colonel Sanders. There you go. Like, what do you want from me? I'm just a man with simple tastes and simple flavors.
KFC, apparently.
KFC is amazing.
There's something to be said
I
there.
might have to go to KFC today.
No, well, okay. So, I mean, let's keep rolling the game. I do want to talk about the state of play stuff at some point, though.
Yeah, we're about to do that right
we
next.
did, yeah.
Alrighty.
But let's hear a couple more
the
headlines.
other ones are very obvious. So the
Okay.
list did not come out as good as I wanted to because I just came up with it this morning. But now
Try
that
harder.
hey, listen, now that I know it was a success, we stumped PJ.
I mean, it's one or the other, you know?
It's one or the other. So,
Hey, look.
but yes, let's.
We
get
got to
into-
add a third option in to really screw him over.
Let's get into
Hey,
state of
look,
play.
let's not do
So I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch the state of play because I don't really care about Sony. The only thing I'm excited for that's coming out of
Ouch.
Sony, right? I'm sorry. You know I'm not a Sony person. When have you ever seen me talk about PlayStation stuff other than to say I'm very excited that this game is being ported over to the PC? Like, I don't talk about Sony. No one ever hears me talk about Sony. I don't say
You're
nothing
right.
bad
No,
about
no, no.
Sony. I don't say nothing good
You
about
don't-
Sony. I don't even think about Sony.
You don't care for
I really
Sony
don't.
at all.
I really don't. They're just not in my mind. But so I didn't watch the state of play. But what I did hear is that it was pretty mid. That's what I heard.
Ooh, there's a whole other thing. Is the word mid? I've been thinking about that a lot recently. But
Okay.
so
They said it
No,
was
no, that's
trash.
fine.
That's pretty much what they said. Fuck mid.
ooh, okay,
They said
all
it was
right.
bad.
So
Mid
So
is an
I've
overused
made a-
term.
where I've worked in the past with the industry, typically we put a link up and we're like, hey, the new Game Awards or the whatever is going to happen, and everybody puts it on in the background and we type in like a temporary Slack channel about what we see and whatnot. So I like putting it on in the background and just kind of listening. I mean, to your point, I'm not a huge PlayStation guy myself. I try to have each console just because I like knowing.
It's just you, PJ. You're the only one.
No. I mean, I got my PS5 right here. I've been playing Spider-Man 2, but like the big thing for me is that I like to have just eyes on all the new hardware, right? Like all the
Right.
most current
I-
hardware, just because
I
it
get
makes me better. Like I know how to do my work better with that. So I mean, good, bad, and ugly, right? In this, for me, like, so they announced Days Gone remastered for that, and I'm kind of surprised because Sony seems to be remastering pretty quick nowadays. Because Days Gone came out in like what 2019, 2020,
Yeah,
Mhm.
somewhere around there.
and I'm kind of surprised that we're bothering to remaster that quickly. But I mean, they did it with The Last of Us as well, where like it was. I mean, The Last of Us had been out longer, I think, but like it feels kind of crazy to remaster that quickly because like it looks better, but I don't know if it looks better enough to justify an entire dev cycle for
It was
remastering.
It's not. You're right. The remaster process, they're doing it for a lot of games, but it is majorly majorly Sony games. But I don't know why they would do that, because there are a lot of games that are being remastered that don't even need to be touched. Like, you got a decade worth, but I think that's because the lifespan of games, because of the way technology is, the life cycle of games is shortening. Because
Yeah.
so, let's be honest, with Call of Duty, when Call of Duty first came out, you could get away with playing Call of Duty for like 4 years before the next one came out. 2K, that's the only one that happens to be every year because the rosters change and all that.
Yeah.
But mainly games come out every year for a process. Like, there shouldn't be a Call of Duty every year. But
that's
the life cycle of games dies.
Yeah,
or they
and
become
2K
short.
gets away with it because 2K gets away with it because the mechanics of sports don't change. That's the whole thing. I think that's one thing that it doesn't really attract me. Like, I've never been a big sports guy, and so when another game comes out, like, get another 2K game, the rules of the game don't change. The rules of the game, like, you can only make it adhere. You can improve it by making it look and play like a little more smoothly, you can evolve it by adding new like all-stars to something, you know, big players. But like if you were to add a new game mode that involved adding some wonky shit to the rules, people don't really want that, which is why I stopped playing sports games at NFL Blitz on the N64, because I liked being able to repeatedly body some motherfucker after I tackled him on defense just over and over and over, which was the best way to play any sports game.
Loved it.
Like, or like NBA Street, like
Can't hear
there
you.
was some shit
Can't
like
hear you, Mir.
that was great.
Your sound gone.
Man, it's eerie quiet now. Let's talk shit on him while he's gone. Look at him. The goatee's a little too long. He needs to trim it a bit. Can't hear him.
We don't know what.
Left. Uh-oh. Hey, there he is.
There's a squeak.
Yeah.
All right. There's something connecting.
What about now?
There
Hey,
you go.
there it is.
Now we
Now
just
we
don't
need
see
video.
you.
Okay, well the video that's fine. I can come back. That's easy.
All right, yeah. There we
I don't
go.
know what was going
Yeah,
on
there we go.
No, so I mean, so we got that with the remastered thing. They announced a game called Directive 8020, which is going to be another one from the Dark Pictures group.
Oh, see now.
so
but
Dark
wait, is that
Pictures-
only going to be on Sony?
I think it's PlayStation, yeah. Or I mean, I don't know. It's always hard to tell with
See,
with
that's
them
why I don't fuck
because
with
when
Sony. That's exactly why. Because see, let me tell
No,
you.
hold on.
Wait.
It might be because the rest of the Dark Pictures anthology is on
Yeah,
Xbox.
they're on everything.
It's just whenever Sony does streams and whatnot, they never flaunt anything
And
else.
those
They're
were
very
my best
specific
streams.
about
I played through
Sony specific things.
recently. I played through every single one of the Dark Pictures anthology.
Did you?
Yeah, on my stream. That was probably like I don't know the past year and a half. I did that.
Yeah.
And
My
like,
sorry, go ahead.
I
I'm
started
getting ahead of
with
myself.
I started with The Quarry, which I know isn't a part of the Dark Pictures anthology. It's made by the same group though. It's still made by Supermassive. And I was like, wow, that one it was so good. And it had what's her name in it from the Disney Channel, the Asian girl. God, what is her name? I can't think of
The one that played London Tisdale?
Yes, her.
Ashley Tisdale. Ashley Tisdale.
Yeah.
Yo,
they
see
had
that
her.
for Zach and Cody? All right,
Yeah,
that's a
so
whole other
yeah,
episode.
she was
right
in
there.
London Tipton. Yeah.
Oh, so
She killed it. She was doing so good.
That's
in
the
that.
thing that kills me about Dark Pictures, right? Is like they always do like it's a game, it's a story, but like the selling point is like, oh, it's that one person from that one thing.
Mhm.
So like the first one was Until Dawn, right? And you get the guy who played Agent Ward and Agent of Shield,
Mhm.
and you get Hayden Panettiere who played Claire in
I haven't
Heroes.
played
And I'm like,
Until
hey,
Dawn, though. I need to play that.
I was like,
one. That was the
so
OG.
Until Dawn, I would argue is actually the best one.
Really, you'd say it's better than Quarry?
So I think so. So the thing was, so I don't personally, these aren't my kind of games. However, my wife loves them, so I've watched her play them, and so there's not a level of gameplay involved in it that I can stay interested. It kind of bumps me out to
like
not
watching a
do
movie.
as much. It is, but I mean, I would argue there's a whole market for creating fully interactive film. Like I actually
True.
want that to be a thing, seeing something like this, but it doesn't play the way that I want it to. That I enjoy it, and like Until Dawn. The problem with the other anthologies is that it's sort of like psycho thriller in the other games. Like it's sort of like is it like a psychological thing or is it really happening kind of a thing? Until Dawn is like genuine creature thriller, and I love that. And the thing about this new one that's coming out, Directive 8020, is it's about astronauts on a ship, and there's an alien that can mimic people.
Oh, I need that one.
And I'm all over that.
Oh
shit.
God,
I think
might
that
have to buy a
sounds really
PlayStation.
cool.
I might
Yeah.
have to buy a PlayStation if it don't come out
Yeah.
like that. I didn't want to buy a PlayStation, but for that,
Well, this is the
Um,
thing with Sony. I can play Sony and Microsoft is like iPhones and it's like Apple and everything else. Apple and Galaxy.
I
It's
don't-
like
I'm straight on the Samsung, man, or I'm on a Google phone, man. Mine said, well, that was my ID on the back. Y'all don't need to see all my information. That was
I
my
screenshot it.
I got an iPhone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
same.
I got the G on it because Google.
I got the iPhone and I got our YouTube stream sitting on it. Say hi to yourself.
Oh my God, hey!
That's how I'm paying attention to the comments. We got Redgrave and
But
Redgrave got it. Brenda Song was the name of the girl
Brenda
that you're
Song,
thinking of.
yes, her. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Brenda Song.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Her perform.
We got it.
Actually, Tisdale was the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But so with what you were saying about how most of the Dark Pictures anthology are like the dark twisted like mental games. There was, what was the one, House of Fire, I think is what it was called, or House of Ashes. House of Ashes. That one is a creature one.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I
Maybe
don't want to
haven't
say what the
seen-
creature is because
Oh no! Don't spoil it.
yeah,
but
it's,
no, I
that was a
think
creature feature. That was my
Yeah,
second
Until
favorite
Dawn-
one for that reason.
Until Dawn was good for that.
Yeah. Okay. I still
I
need
mean-
to do Until Dawn. Everybody keeps telling me I need to
Yeah.
play that one.
Let's see what else was there. We got the Borderlands 4 release date trailer. I know a lot of people are skeptical about this one, and I personally, I really did not like Borderlands 3. So I will say it played better than any
Was
Borderlands game
Borderlands
that's ever
3 the one with Handsome Jack, or was that 2?
No, that was 2.
Okay.
So Borderlands 3, the writing was completely neutered for me. So like a lot of the characters that they developed and whatnot were sort of toned down for, it felt like HR writing to me, which is not typically something I will do as a critique, but like Borderlands, the universe is perverse, you know, like there's just so much wrong with it. And
It's time
Borderlands
to
3,
pound the meat puppet.
yeah, exactly. No, I mean Krieg was my favorite fucking character. You know, powdering my ribcage powdering my cockatiel for the ribcage slaughter was what I'm about. You know, having the shiniest meat bicycle. But like the psychosis of it was like part of it. Like the thing is like these characters, they were offensive, but they were so perfectly written that it wasn't a problem. You know, so you have Mad Moxie, right? Like you go through the entire first game thinking Mad Moxie is going to be like this nasty redneck, like breeding factory woman. And it turns out she's this sexy, like, you know,
Mad Hatter.
brothel madame Mad Hatter kind of like bar owner, right? And she's actually like one of the most powerful people in that universe, just with the influence that she has. She has all these kids, she has all these ex-husbands and everything, but like her character is so strong. And in Borderlands 3, she became just sort of like, they gave her like the husky voice, but it was just her sort of commenting on like bad past relationships. And it wasn't like as gross and strange as she was. Like she was a very good character, but they went back on it. And so
Wow.
the game played so well
I hate
for
when that
Borderlands 3.
happens.
Like, the controls were fantastic. They had built on so much, but the universe just didn't feel like Borderlands for me. The thing that I'm actually kind of excited about with Borderlands 4, if you watch it, it seems like they're toning back the humor aspect and actually going a little darker with it. And I love Borderlands humor. I miss the old Borderlands humor, but I don't think it can have that kind of humor in 2025. I think it's too dangerous, and most companies won't take the chance to be like that anymore.
Because people don't really
So I
understand
think-
satire.
Yeah, and so the thing is if they're going to play it safe, the best way to play it safe is to emphasize what makes this world unique. Like, it can still be twisted, but it doesn't need to be. Don't try to be funny. If your humor can't land, you hit your funny bone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a face. But, like, if
in
you're-
other words,
Yeah, if your humor isn't allowed to land anymore, then focus on what made the game strong. And I'm looking at the trailers, the gameplay looks great, and I'm really actually hoping that it's not trying to be as funny anymore. Like, it can be twisted and bizarre, that's fine. But like if it tries to be funny again, that's my big point where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. But the trailers they've shown since have really emphasized like that, just the weird cursed nature of the universe without doing like the bizarre sexual humor or the overly like gratuitously like sexualized or stereotypical characters. It's like forces of like these weird mechanical cyborg psychos and like aliens are coming and fighting each other. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, if that's how Borderlands survives moving forward, I'm cool with that. I like
feel you.
that.
I mean, some things need to evolve or change. One thing I will
Mhm.
say, like how you were talking about how 3 just kind of screwed up so many things from 2 or from 1 and from 1, like just with how the writing was. That's
Mhm.
one thing I gotta say about this next game I want to mention, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I've seen
Perfect.
that.
Like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is literally, that should be the benchmark for how you just take something that was good and just improve on it. Like that, it's perfect. perfect in that aspect. The combat flows slightly faster than the first one. Now you get more combos. Sure, it has their things that they do that. I'm like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you improve on that? But I feel like they're gonna keep doing it. They just had a patch update for it, and that smoothed some things out. I don't lag as much in some cities now. The game is massive. And the game feels big. Like you feel like an actual person walking around in 15th century or 14th century Bohemia. That's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. Even just walking from point A to point B feels like how it would be if you were walking from like your nearest Publix, or your apartment to a Publix, or your apartment to a supermarket. It just feels like you're traveling an actual amount of distance. And
For people that live in Texas, like me and PJ, a Publix is HEB, except not HEB.
Yes, and
Yeah.
HEB, a grocery store, even though Publix is better. I don't
A grocery store.
Yeah. So with that being said, like it's just that's what I look at when I look at a sequel. I look at, did they just improve on what I really liked about the first game? Like Mass Effect, another good example of that. Mass Effect 2 was a tremendous improvement on the mechanics that were good in Mass Effect 1. Then they had Mass Effect 3, which expanded more on the power side. And then they had Andromeda, which focused mainly solely on the improvement of the combat. Because the combat, like that was the best combat at all three of those games. But
That's another one. I loved Andromeda.
I loved Andromeda too.
I think, I mean, we talked about this a little bit with Anthem. I think BioWare's biggest flaw that's happened over the past decade or so has been that they've created something that didn't get good reception at first, but could have been so much better if they had supported it a little longer. So like Andromeda had these expansion story DLCs that they were coming out with that were going to be great.
But you know why
they had some really good ideas.
They literally told us why they didn't want it, like why they stopped doing it. They kept getting.
Was that the Dragon Age thing?
No, they just kept getting. No, they kept getting death threats, and people were just talking so much shit, and they like some of the devs came out and they were like, literally, y'all, like this is what we have planned for y'all. But if this is how y'all feel about the shit, we just not gonna do it no more. If y'all don't leave us alone, we not gonna make it anymore. They kept getting it. They kept getting them, and then they just went dark. They didn't say nothing about it.
There's a sidebar, guys. Don't threaten game developers. I've said it before. 95% of the people that work at a game studio did not do something that you're mad about. Like they don't have. Most of us don't have say in what happens within a game either. And like, I worked at a gas station off the highway in Norman, Oklahoma for a year. If I had $1 for every time someone flashed a fucking piece at me in that job, I would not have had to work that job. It's not fun to be threatened for what you do for a living, especially when it's like it's paying the bills. Of course, working on games is terrific, but like it's still a job. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that. Like it is still work. Like actors, they make a shitload of money, sure, but it's still a job to them at the end of the day. They still have to do stuff. Like a lot of us don't actually get to like play and like prance through the field. We don't get to frolic for a living here. Like we are doing our jobs. There's nothing to be gained from this. In fact, like we are required by contract to report these threats to our company. And by doing that, you are just actively detrimenting any sort of progress that can be made. Like if the wrong person sees that and then axes the project because of it, like that's it. That's game. Like we don't know what happened to a whole colony ship in Andromeda because people were mad that it didn't continue, like because there were bugs. And should there have been that many bugs? No, but they fixed it within like a month.
Yeah.
Like there were patches within a month. And now that was back when like patching was still sort of a raw thing. Mm-hmm. Now Avowed has had 2 updates in the past like week that have drastically improved aspects of the game. Like most of my complaints have been solved by updates. Like they've balanced certain parts of the combat, they've improved companion AI, that kind of thing. But like, we're in a point now where that can be fixed and it's on their radar. But like, if you're going to threaten people, like that is just, again, constructive criticism. Like it's not.
Is it me or he's lagging?
No, he lagged.
Did I lag?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, he lagged. You're lagged. You're lagging.
I'm lagging.
Now I'm lagging.
No.
You're like,
Yeah,
for me,
Delta-
it's a straight line. For me, it's straight
okay, I know it's
line.
Oh,
Delta.
okay.
Delta, you
Delta was
flag.
Delta was lagging.
Oh
But-
no.
I gotta say though, I see Saber in the chat. Saber said, I think if you're gonna remove the humor of Borderlands because it won't work anymore, you shouldn't make new
I agree
Borderlands
with
games.
Saber though, because
will
like
people understand-
Borderlands,
Oh, never mind.
Borderlands
I didn't say
humor made it most of it
Yeah.
in the beginning. But if you're gonna try to take it away, it's not gonna be the same Borderlands. I mean, that's
And would you rather just not have Borderlands at all at that point? Like I
yeah. I'm not
Would
gonna
you?
lie. I would, if something that made a game what it was, the fun of it, like the humor is what made Borderlands. Some things that look small make a game that
Oh, yeah.
game. So
yeah, I mean the writing is what sold Borderlands 2 because Borderlands
exactly.
1 the writing was kind of interesting, but it wasn't the big
Yeah, Borderlands.
It wasn't
2 is-
huge.
Borderlands 1 was boring.
two's
Yeah.
writing
Yeah.
is legendary.
Took me by a storm.
That's what I'm saying.
I will say I'm kind of like I'm a little more on your side with that one, Delta. I'm cool with them revamping things. I'm perfectly fine with that. I do get where PJ and Saber in TikTok chat is coming from, because like just imagine a show like The Boondocks, and then you completely censor Riley. Like now you
Yeah,
have a
that's-
whole. You see what I'm saying?
so
Now
that's-
it's like not really Boondocks anymore.
Yeah.
Or if you
Well, the
censored
thing was
Uncle
is-
Ruckus, it's like some of this humor
that's
is
what-
meant for it to be uncensored. Like that's
Well, I
part
think
of the
television's
humor.
a little different though because television
Yeah.
is like they have a target audience.
True.
Games when it comes to backers and whatnot and marketing it, like games has lost sight on the fact that you can have a single target audience or like a narrow target audience.
Mhm.
A lot of people that are trying to return on investment try to broaden that as widely as possible. So in Borderlands 3, like the two main villains were literally Twitch streamers. Like
True.
they were doing
Yeah.
live streams and saying like, what's up cultists and shit. It was cringy as hell. And it was very uncomfortable. But like there were really good moments within it, but
it got
the
too
point where they were trying
it
to
got too close to reality.
well too close to reality, but it's like it was very much a how do you do fellow kids kind of thing. It was like I was watching a bunch of people from the aught thousands trying to appeal to Gen Z, and it's like suddenly the kid with the Invader Zim backpack from high school is trying to identify with your 8-year-old kid, and it was very uncomfortable, and I did not like it. But
that's
I
good
would-
imagery right there.
you know who I'm talking about. We all knew the kid. you
We all know the
one
Invader
who
Zim
spent
kid.
all the free time in high school was spent in Hot Topic, that type, like the one you try to be nice to, but then like the only thing they can think to do is like send you Gurr clips from YouTube. Like it's very strange.
I feel like you're
but-
talking from actual experience on this one.
Oh, of course I am. I knew everyone. And I was the whale of my high school ecosystem. I didn't fit anywhere, but everyone knew who I was and didn't mess with me. I was too big for that. But no, I just because again, like it's that, yeah. The thing that's interesting though, like I think if Borderlands, if they did this in like another part of the galaxy, or they did it just in another part of Pandora, like you could create an environment that isn't as zany and crazy within the Borderlands universe that is not world breaking. Because like Pandora was lawless and bizarre. So you could go someplace else where it's like this has been militant and run by like cyborg cultists for centuries, that kind of thing. Like you could go into another part of that universe and make it believable without completely destroying what's going on. And so, I mean, PJ's right. There's a very real chance that doing something like this is a nail in the coffin for the series, and it just doesn't really land. And I hope that's not the case, but I would like to see if they can manage this and create something moving forward that's actually fun to keep doing.
And then they
You know?
could always like just because they're leaning darker doesn't necessarily mean that they're leaving the humor behind.
Yeah,
too.
because I think there still will be humor for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, if you're taking away, because we said this earlier, they're taking away a lot of the humor, or what? Because a lot of Borderlands humor was like those. Okay, here's the line, and here's their humor, and where people start getting offended.
Yeah.
Now, if you're toning it back down here, that's kind of because you don't want to be across that.
Yeah.
You don't want because
I think what's going on now. Oh, yeah,
sensitivity.
you're going in and out. Sorry.
Am I?
Yeah, you were for
Yeah,
a
you
second.
oh, there you go. Yeah, he's
Okay.
back.
All right, because people's sensitivity
Didn't-
is at. Yeah, I see it because you're going in and out for me too.
Oh, okay.
So I'm taking internet's
Let's-
BS today.
What can I do? What can I do?
I
I
think
heard
all
him
the
say-
internet's BS today.
You think it's
I heard him say, "Internet kids today." He's got old man syndrome.
But
So,
no, I see
but
where PJ's
kids-
coming from, though. I do.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
because the sensitivity is where it is today,
hmm
makes it a lot harder to be on that line. Because let's say my sensitivity, you can say whatever you want over here, but there's someone else's sensitivity is if you hit anything that I somewhat like, make fun of what any Twitch streamer, IG streamer, or any personality that I like, now I'm offended
Right.
because
And
now I
that's
feel
what-
like you're
that's
taking a shot at me.
I think.
Well, that's that broad target audience too. Is the
Right.
thing. Like,
Yeah,
that's why South Park and Boondocks were great, because the thing is you went on to when you went to watch that, you knew no punches would be held.
Right.
And Borderlands is the same way, or was the same way, although that target audience is video games is so much bigger, and that is like, these shows were airing at specific times, and they were well known, and it was like my parents would not let me watch South Park as a kid. I watched that later as an adult.
I'm gonna be real
And-
with you. Borderlands target audience is now 29, 30 plus years old.
I mean, this is the Pokemon discussion all over again, though.
Mhm.
What the thing is like people are saying Pokemon holds my hand too much, and Pokemon is like Nintendo
That world
and
is
Game
better!
Freak are having trouble. It's like we're in our 30s now. It's like we want to see the game get a little more complex, and they were like, well, it wasn't complex back in 1999, but that's it. Like we're not.
I think
It's different.
I think the biggest thing with understanding how humor has changed, because humor is only indicative of the society that it's existing in. So right now, with people being a little more in touch with their feelings and being a little more in touch
Honest.
with like other people's experiences may not be the same as yours. So something you may find that is funny at this other person's detriment is not funny, and probably never has been funny to that person.
Mhm.
So now the thing is it's like we just can't punch down, or we can't punch down anymore, and also it's harder to punch across as well, because everything is so extreme at this point, with like exactly following in line with what PJ's saying. So if you're not punching up, which, let's be real, if every game came out it was just eat the rich jokes, we'd get tired of that eventually.
That's what happened with the new Saints Row. It was a bunch of
Exactly.
eat the rich jokes,
and it
and
just kind
everybody
of killed
got
what Saints Row was about, because Saints Row was
Yeah.
about punching up, it was about punching across, and it was about punching diagonally down. So it's like you're
And
not
Saints
going
Row was
all-
about punching.
Yeah, it was
Saints Row was
punching.
just about
Yeah.
punching. It didn't matter.
But even the way they handled the punching was still good. Like, for example, they in Saints Row 2, right? Canonically, if you decide at any point in your Saints Row journey, if you play Saints Row 2 or any game after that, and you make a female character, your character is canonically trans. And one of the jokes they used to tell in that game, which isn't bad or anything like that, they would just be like, did you do something to your hair? Like, they would acknowledge that you're different, but not what actually was making you different. Just the fact that maybe your hair changed, And something like that is funny for somebody who may be trans playing that game. They're not being punched. They're not being, like, decked. You know what I'm saying? They're just being tapped. Like,
Well, a lot of this course correction is coming from groups that are trying to preempt other groups being upset. And I call it the HOA. It's the Homeowners Association. They come in, they tell you how to run your shit, and they're like, "Oh, everyone's going to be mad that your grass is 4 inches long when we all agreed at 3 inches." No one gives a shit. But the HOA decides that that's their business, and That's what business is. That we have every industry now has paid professionals that are like, oh, people might be offended by this, so we're just gonna, amputate it. And I mean, to your point about humor, the observation I had was that from the year 2000 to 2010, when we hit 2010, pretty much nothing was off limits for humor.
Right.
And then from 2010 to 2020, suddenly nothing is okay.
Yeah.
And then from 2020 to 2025, like we're trying to find that balance again. But like, think about 2010. Like one of the peak comedians of that time was Jeff Dunham.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Who else? I liked Jeff Dunham back then, but think about it now. The guy he was a ventriloquist. He had a
Right.
puppet that was a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Like
He
he
did.
made terrorist jokes about like he had whole shticks, and one was like an illegal Mexican immigrant that was a jalapeno
Yeah.
pepper,
Yeah.
and he was funny as hell back then. But looking back at it, that did not age well.
No.
Like that's not a type of humor that flies.
And that's what I'm saying. Humor evolves with society. So however we
Yeah.
progress. So and like you said, Delta, we started overcorrecting. Like we were going so
Yeah.
far this way, and now we're like, wait, we gotta go all
Yeah.
the way this way now to undo.
Well, I've given
all
the analogy
stuff
of
that
the
was
scales
done.
before.
Yeah.
I've given the
Yeah.
analogy of the
Yeah,
scales
with the
before, where
scales.
it's like if when you try to balance it, it's going to go like this for a bit until it hits that level point,
Exactly.
regardless
I
of the
agree.
weight on
And we're
the
just
side.
trying. We're
And
in that, like you said, we're in that point where we're just kind of going like this until we're.
It'll
eventually
level
like
out.
that.
I mean, and big thing is like you've got to learn to be conscientious of your fellow human beings, but you've also got to learn that if you climb a ladder to look in your neighbor's window and something you see upsets you, that's on you.
Exactly.
Like do not
Exactly.
bring a ladder to your neighbor's window and then get pissed that they're prancing around in Hello Kitty cosplay.
And
Like
that's the
they can do
thing.
whatever they want.
Unless they're
And
furries.
Dude, no, don't oust the furries. Don't oust the furries, man. For all we know, they're our main viewer base. You can't get mad at the furries.
Hey, man.
Look at me, man. I'm 6'5", covered in hair. Like, who is daddy?
I'm sorry.
You know?
No, you don't
If
understand.
the furries start watching, you can't offend the furries here,
Listen,
man. What if they like me?
You don't get it. You don't get it, man. There is I was in some political discourse, and I got
Oh, they're everywhere.
I got assaulted by 3 different furries on my page.
Yeah.
And they were all like defending the furry that came before them, and I didn't even say nothing about furries until
It's a
I started getting
community, dude.
accosted by furries. I was like,
Yeah.
listen,
Dude,
listen.
Some of our remember you and I had good friends that were furries in college, man.
We did.
All right.
Who?
Yeah,
Actually,
we
don't
did.
tell me.
Oh, we'll talk about that later.
don't
Yeah,
tell
we'll
me.
talk about
Actually,
that later.
Don't out any furries to me. I actually don't even want to know because then when they
Yeah.
reach out to me,
No, they're a legitimate group. Again, if what you're doing is your own thing and you're not
Hey.
throwing it at anyone else and interviewing or accosting anyone else, okay, accosting someone in a political chat and you're a furry, man, glass houses should not throw stones,
that's
But like, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to come at some people, like, and you're sitting there wearing your stuff freely, like, it's fair game, Return
Listen,
fire. But, like, again,
I'm just saying.
there's a balance,
It's it.
See, and this is my whole problem with society in general. They're so worried about what everybody else is doing. Like, look, let's be honest. If me and Japan America made a post and his post contradicted my post, but I didn't care. Like we never talked or not. Whatever he's talking about, if it's in the first 5 seconds of something I didn't care for or something I didn't agree with, it's not hard to just say,
Bye.
Scroll up.
Or you can do
Yeah.
1, 2, blocked. Like,
I am not interested in seeing this type of
not
content.
interested. Yep.
I like, bro, just because you don't need to tell me that you don't like what I say, how I say, or what I say, when the scroll button is just as easy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Or
no, on
blocking me.
on the internet especially, if you take the time to go and do that's a whole other thing.
That's what I'm
Like-
saying.
Because all you're gonna get out of me, can I cuss?
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Okay.
You just
Yeah,
can't say anything super crazy, but yeah, you can say.
I mean, no, I mean, like, wait, what crazy are we talking about?
I don't know.
No.
like-
Hold on. Let's get a clip of him saying, "Can I cuss?" too, because I like that.
Hey, Saber, get a clip of Can I
Yeah.
Cuss?
Like last time Amir said, "I'm an edger," and I'm still waiting for the clip where he said that because that was crazy.
He sent it in the Discord. Saber put it in the
Oh,
Discord.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you laughed at it. I could have sworn you reacted.
Oh, I
to it.
did. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, so definitely
Oh,
you
that's
can.
good.
I won't go too
become
far.
meme. I have
Look,
lived
if-
long
No,
enough
say-
to
say-
become the meme.
If you
Peace,
don't
PJ.
like what I
Musk
say,
style.
No, let the man cook.
hey, look, if you don't like what I say, you don't like how it's said. F you. That's all you're gonna get back out of me.
I feel
I'm not
you.
gonna.
Especially if you're not like, hey, you, fuck you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you're not doing that, then I usually ignore shit. Unless it like,
You know,
you know what I
'cause
mean?
even then,
Well,
like
noticed
you don't
I've
know
noticed, like,
me.
Yeah. I mean, so
Like,
the big thing too, like you see all these arguments and everything. The thing is it seems like people have forgotten that we've forgotten us, like society. We've forgotten how to have a debate.
Mm-hmm.
Like every disagreement is about trying to convert someone to your side rather than show your perspective. So, like when someone disagrees with someone else, it's them attacking that person's beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like a genuine like a disagreement, even a regular argument or a debate, is like, I see it this way, and it's like I'm not trying to tell you how to think, but now you have additional perspective to consider when you broach this topic again. You know, and that's the way that you have a disagreement. But no one on the internet does that because the anonymity gives them the power to just be like, "Fuck yourself," and I hate you.
Yeah.
Go away.
And the problem,
This is
and
the
also the
thing.
problem is like, and then we should get back in the nerdy topics, but
Yeah, please.
the
I got
biggest-
one
the
more
biggest-
state of play thing.
the biggest issue that makes all these other issues explode the way they have been is, like you said, people can't just have the debate anymore. But now we're not debating about, oh, hey, Delta likes the color green, or I like the color green,
do.
Delta likes the color blue. You know what I'm saying?
I
We're
like
not-
green.
we're not debating over like somebody's favorite color. Now we're debating over, hey, does this group of people have the right to exist in this space? So like you can't really debate with somebody on that and then be like, I can still be cool with you if you're a part of the group that they're like, hey, yeah, we don't want you near us. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, what? How do you know what I mean? So
Well, I was gonna show up to your place wearing my fursuit, but now I don't feel comfortable.
listen,
I feel like
man,
I'm
you
not
can-
allowed
Hey,
to
you
use
can pull
clothes.
up as a furry. I ain't got no problem if you want to pull up as a furry, man. you
Just
know?
those three furries that can't
Listen,
pull up to
listen.
him.
I may be talking shit about furries, but
Uh-oh.
he's not
Does he
gonna
have the
do it.
fursuit?
Yes, he does.
Well, it's not even gonna be furry. It's gonna be it's just a
sometimes
mask.
you gotta pop out and
That's-
show niggas.
Look, dude, listen. Just because you've got a certain kink doesn't make you a furry. All right. Furries aren't all about kinks. Tiff can like your werewolf mask as much as you want, man. But like, here I am. That's like furry blackface is what that shit is. Get out of
Furry blackface is
That's
Crazy.
You're gonna piss off some furries, man. We're gonna have to do damage control.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Where's our PR person?
I've been a furry fighter since age 12. Bring them
No,
on.
man. Listen, we found an editor, but now we need a PR person
Now
to
we
censor
need a
Amir.
PR person.
We're in trouble.
I need PR. Hey, look, I need PR man.
Hey,
Furries, you're welcome.
Hey,
I'm
Tiffany
fine
does
being the
PR.
furry flagship.
We can make
Furries
Tiffany
can
our
take-
PR representative.
Listen, I'm a big guy. I can shelter the furries. You can be the storm over there. You know?
Listen, I'm not storming out no furry. I thought that was an accurate
Yeah.
representation. They don't like
Oof,
wolves.
ooh. Can't say that.
Hold
Not-
on, hold
not
on.
online. Oh no, he's still going. He's doubling
We was
down.
wolves!
He's gonna.
We used to be wolves, running around, running the forest. Now look at us. Now look at us. Now we just dress up and go to conventions. But we used to be wolves.
Oh man, that's two different types of people. You just referenced stereotypes. Man,
It's the pack leader.
Animals in past lives are Therians. There's a difference between a furry and a Therian.
Oh my goodness! See,
I was-
look, I didn't know.
I did a
Listen,
research paper.
listen,
I did a research paper, man.
listen, man. Now this getting out of hand. Okay, now we're adding
No,
to.
listen.
Now listen. I just got used to furries. Now you're telling me there's a Terrian?
Uh-oh. Ooh.
Like what is that? You see what I'm saying? Like this why we can't get used to nothing. Okay?
Jesus
Give
Christ.
us some time.
Stop changing the meanings and words. I'm tired of all these overzealous ass words and now meaning something completely brand new meanings to old words.
I was
It's
being,
the,
hey, listen. But anyway, so about that state of play.
All I'm hearing from Amir physical, he is a wolf. No?
I used to be a
No.
wolf.
So we could go back to Liza. We
I'm
could
a
go back to this.
lichen.
My state of play, like the reason I wanted to talk about this is they announced the Lies of P DLC finally. Lies of P is objectively one of the best games I've ever played in
I
my
have
life,
still
and it
not
is
played
one
it.
of it is the only it is one of the only non-FromSoft Souls-like games I've played that has felt like its own game and been genuinely like it doesn't feel like it's trying to be a Souls game. It's just really fucking good
Oh,
within
wow.
that genre. And
Okay.
again, I don't like to replay games. I played through Lies of P 3 times in 2 weeks.
Wow.
It is incredible.
Wow.
I have a friend that played it, and I watched him play it from beginning to end on Sony SharePlay. I can honestly say that was just a great watch. I didn't even touch it. That was just like me watching him play. Accordingly, he's kind of not the best game player in the world, but still,
Actually, he sucks at it. He died a lot, but at the end of the
he
day,
died a lot. But he was still. But the state of play, the gameplay itself, from what I could see, compared to what he was messing up and what he did do, I was like, okay,
that's the
I
good
see
thing
what's
about those
supposed. I see what's supposed to happen here. You just suck at it, but I see what's supposed to happen here, and it was. Truth be told, no, it was a great game all the way through.
It's
And I
the
loved
narrative's
it.
very interesting. Like when they first announced it, they're like, "Oh, you play as Pinocchio," and I'm like, "That's fucking weird."
Hey Saber,
But
if you can,
they-
clip the furry nonsense.
Oh God, clip it out.
Clip the whole thing.
Cut it out.
I'm posting it.
Oh no.
Especially
Oh,
the We
man.
Was Wolves.
No, listen. Back, Lies of P, right? Okay. One of the things I love about Lies of P is it did New Game Plus in the perfect way.
How did it
So
do that
Lies of
game
P
plus?
Lies of P has like a skill system, right? Where it's like you have 4 options, and once you've leveled 2 of them, it pulls you into the next tier, and you can put points in that tier or the previous tier. When you hit New Game Plus, the last section expands, and you get a 5th section, or maybe it's a 6th. And then when you do New Game Plus Plus, there's another skill set that shows up.
Oh wow.
So you get these skills that let you build further and further, and your character gets absolutely cracked. And they're not just like little stat boosts; they're total mechanical changes. So the drive, like the compulsion to keep playing and try something new each time is there, and it's really really strong, and it's a ton of fun. And the narrative itself, like the post credits within that game, really made me excited because the implication is that they're trying to build a set of Souls-like games that are in these like lesser used fairy tales. So at the end of the game, there's a hint at a Wizard of Oz game. And I would be fucking thrilled to see them take an approach to Wizard of Oz like that.
What if they did Alice?
See, Alice, I feel like Alice is low-hanging fruit at this point because again, the hot topic energy hit it, and it's been like grimdark ever since. And it's like, okay, cool. Like,
Wait
you
a
got
minute,
this
hold up. Delta can keep going at these hot topic people, but I can't say nothing about furries.
Furries are a protected group. Hot Topic was a way of life, you know. I've been in a Hot Topic. All right, I dated in high school.
Hot topic.
Look, bro,
I used to
listen,
date
man,
I'm not gonna lie
bitches.
to you.
Listen, most of the girls I dated in high school were Hot Topic goers. All right, I've
And
been
you
there.
very close to still going to Hot Topic.
No, I mean, so I used to. weirdly, Hot Topic was one of the few places I could find One Piece TCG booster packs. That was a very strange thing. I've gone in there maybe twice in the past 2 years, and I have sort of nom flashbacks that hit me when I walk in back to high school, and I don't want to go back in ever. So since I've stopped playing the One Piece TCG recently, I don't have any excuse to go to Hot Topic.
Hot
And I'm
Topic
happy
has
for it.
never had anything for me. Nothing
No,
in there
yeah.
fit. I felt like I was wearing a
No,
choker
but yeah.
for a shirt.
Exactly.
Well, we
No,
can't
I mean,
all
if
be
you're not there to
giants.
wear, I mean, 2 of us are. You're the odd one out here. I was
Hey.
going to tell you, I want to name our
I am.
channel 2.5
I
Men.
am 6'9".
You want to name it 2.5 Men?
2.5 Men. 2.5 gamers. 2.5 gamers.
Gamers go crazy.
That's crazy.
Dude, think
But it
about it. The
works on
logo is
multiple
just me and
levels,
PJ.
We
Me
have
and
a
PJ
Oreo
standing next
on
to
here.
you.
It works
And
on
you're just
multiple
like, you have to
levels
hold.
because
Yeah.
yes, I'm shorter than you two, and then also I don't play Sony that often, and both of you guys have PlayStations. So look, I'm the odd man out in multiple categories,
He's half a gamer all the way across.
all the way across. You know,
2.5 Men.
you know.
He completes us.
We'll have to sing the song when we start. Men, or game, or
Game. Ooh.
But yeah, man, like that's
Uh,
dope. That's a really cool feature to like. I think a lot of games should do stuff like that. On New
Mhm.
Game Plus,
But-
that was one of the things that upset me about Dragon's Dogma 2 because you do a New
Ooh.
Game Plus in Dragon's Dogma 2 before they did the update to it. When
Mm.
you would do New Game Plus, the game would be no more difficult than it was the first time through. So now you have
Yeah.
all of your new stuff, but like you're literally like tapping a goblin, and it's just, like you're tickling it, and it's unaliving. So like I hated that. I need a challenge all the time. Even when I feel like I'm, doing some cool, badass, like super strong man stuff, I still want a challenge. I don't want to what strong person doesn't want to challenge themselves? How is it
And that's
challenging?
the advantage. That's the advantage of Lies of P. Is the game is inherently challenging to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go in, it's easier for you, but it's not necessarily obnoxiously easy.
And that's what I like.
And another thing that Lies of P does that I really enjoyed was it has the weapon scaling the way that most Souls games do, where it's like it has like a D through S scaling for like strength or dexterity or whatever, but it's tied to the handle of a weapon. And the way the weapon system works is most of the weapons in the game are the handle and the head of the weapon. So you get like a police baton, and it's the baton of the police baton, and then the actual club part. And every single weapon can be split. So you can suddenly get the handle from a police baton, but you can attach anything to it.
Oh wow!
And it not only does it change how the weapon functions, but it changes the scaling. So if you get like, if you get like a rapier and it does poison damage, and it's like, I really like this, but it's a dex weapon and I'm a strength character, you can then slap the rapier blade on the police baton handle. It changes
And
the attack
and
animation.
now you have a.
But now it's a strength scale.
That's dope.
And it's really, really cool to be able to do that, because then you start getting all of these weapons. You get all these really cool weapons. And there are boss weapons that you can't break down that are just really fucking cool. But like getting the option to, it's like, I found something that I want to use, but I'll have to use it next time because I don't have a character that's scaled this way. All you got to do is split it in half and slap one piece on the other. And some of the changes look ridiculous. I put like a hammerhead on the end of a spear. That looks fucking crazy.
That's
but
hilarious.
you can do it. You can do
You
it,
should
and
be
that's
able
the
to do
coolest
that.
thing. Like,
Every game. should do
It's
that.
just the fact that you can do it.
yeah, like I
Imagine-
put a greatsword blade on a police club handle, so it's a one-handed. Like, it's no longer a two-handed weapon anymore. It is a greatsword blade that I swing one-handed, and it's slow, but it has the damage scaling that I wanted to give it, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
Like the way that you play it is. There are so many ways to play the game, and the writing, the
You just sold me
narrative.
on it.
Like,
I'm gonna have to play it now. That
You
feature
should.
alone. But I'm not gonna do that until after I finish Pillars of
Finish
Eternity and Deadfire, and then Avowed.
wow,
But
yeah, you
all
got-
of that's
I'm sorry.
about to listen.
This
all
is
of that's
just an
about to
update.
go on hold.
Avowed is
54% down on the download.
Oh hell yeah! And that's
Um,
why his stream's been cutting out.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Here's the other thing on that. But that's going to get halted because, as we all know, the best game of this year is
Yeah.
coming out in 7 days, everybody. Unless I think, wait, do you
7
get early
days.
access? I don't know if you get early access. But either way, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Mm.
I think we do get early access.
My hunting horn is ready. Let me tell you.
Listen, we got to try to do a podcast while trying to hunt a monster.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's cross-platform this time, which is great.
It is,
And
it
It
they're
is.
setting up private lobbies. So I'm going to be setting up a big thing and inviting a bunch of people. I
So,
can throw you guys. in
I'm
the
not
Discord
gonna lie
chat.
to you. I did do this, so I will be able any cross-platform game y'all want to play.
Ooh,
I got 4 terabytes
hey.
to work with
PlayStation
my
SSD,
PS5.
let's go.
With my PS5.
I didn't even know you
Forza.
could get those.
Yeah, they made PlayStation 5's modular.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
So
that's it.
if you, because on my PS4 I had an external hard drive. Tried to hook it up to my PS5, but PS5 won't let you play with external hard drives.
Mhm.
So you have to take it out and get a.
oh, it's
Well,
an SSD thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
Definitely.
internal
Xbox is
hard
similar.
drive SSD. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
Xbox does a
get-
similar thing where like you need to have an SSD if you're gonna use it as an expansion. Otherwise, it's just storage, and it takes
Yeah.
less time to transfer than it does to download. But
Mhm.
like I think it was Black Friday. They had a sale on like the 2 terabyte expansion drive for the series, and I managed to snag that, and that's been super cool. So I guess that's the same thing for PlayStation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And now I also need to do one for my PC,
Mm.
which I'm going to go to Japanimir on telling me what I need to get for a PC.
Oh yeah, I got you, man. I got
SSD.
you. I'll help you make a decent PC. You know.
No, internal hard drive.
Oh, I
at least.
got you on anything like that, yeah. But definitely got to make sure you get Monster Hunter. I will be playing the fuck out of Monster Hunter. I don't know if... I mean, we're definitely going to do a podcast episode. I am 100% committed to doing this. This has been so fun. And so, even though I'll be sitting there looking at one screen going... Man, just know we're still about it. We're still going to bring everybody who is listening more Spawn Point sessions. We're going to work on getting some more guests. We're trying to do a couple of episodes, just the 3 of us, before we bring on another guest. That way you guys don't just think we're only out here trying to grab other people, okay? We got lives. We got interesting things to talk about. Y'all heard it here first. I just learned that apparently furries are a protected class of people. I honestly thought that was a lifestyle choice. I'm not going to lie. But, hey, we could all grow as people. I'm just at the beginning of my furry
We'll see who
journey,
the
I guess.
internet sides with.
We'll see what happens there. But anyway, do you guys have any last remarks? Anything you really want to say to the people?
Yeah,
Open
join us
tournament
next
coming
time
next
on-
March.
Join
Say
us
what?
next time on 2.5 Gamers.
Oh my God.
Join us next time on 2.5 Games.
Next time on 2.5 Gamers, Japanimir decides to put lifts in his shoes so he'll be 6'2" at least.
2 2/3 Gamers.
Now we're 2 2/3 gamers. Anyway, from PJ, from Delta, and from me, thank you guys so much for coming to our Spawn Point sessions.
One more thing.
We'll see you next time. Turn that game off.
One more thing.
Oh, wait. Dang it, man. You waited till I did all
Next
that.
tournament coming March. That's
Tekken
it.
tournament in March. Oh, wow. Okay, wait. In March, really?
In March.
That is what I said. Yes, okay. Tekken tournament coming in March. Until then, turn that game off, man. Pick up them sticks, play on an arcade table, do something else, but definitely go outside and touch grass. If you don't do that, that's okay. It's your ass. You're going to be the weird dude on the internet. Whatever. We'll see y'all next week. Now let me cut this out.
The furries. Yeah,
Hold
cut
on,
the furries
We're
in.
still live on YouTube.
Oh no.
I can't cut them all off at the same time because I don't.